It wasn't a 1-0 win.
Or was it?
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was 1-1, didn't it?
That's a win for Man United nowadays. I understand, don't worry.
Sorry,
So
my memory only stretches to 1-0 and that's it.
Hey, welcome back everyone to another Watch More Football. It's 1 week before the Premier League starts again. That summer period where we have no football but loads of stories about football. It's almost over and we're almost back to sanity.
It feels like it's only just
ended. Watching us. I mean, in some ways,
your team is still on their holidays, aren't they?
Against Crystal Palace.
Basically, had no time off because you were, playing and winning the World Championships. But it's tough at the top, mate. It's tough at the top. As always, guys, you're watching us on the Genreverse Sports YouTube channel, but we are a part of the main Genreverse YouTube family. So you can check the main Genreverse YouTube channel out. There's lots of interesting things on there, mostly anime focused, reactions, reviews, tons of content on there if you're into anime. There's a few other bits and bobs on there that Kyle will probably show you how up as well, but that's the main focus. We've also got our LRM YouTube channel because we are a part of the LRM family, and we've got our online.com website. If you prefer written news content, you'll find loads of entertainment news on there, geek stuff, rumours, big news about big franchises in the cinema and the TV reviews. I'm one of the writers on there. As always, our team is Cam, we've got Ryan, we've got Dave, who's with us again this week. Won't be with us every week because of the baby situation, but there you go. And we also have producer Kyle as well, who kind of sits there just makes all this possible and provides some Arsenal.
It's the first one for the season, and then I'll never wear the shirt again until next year.
Once we kind of get started on the season, Rich has offered to jump on, maybe to give an Arsenal perspective.
Yeah,
one
that'd be great.
if you would
is
like,
that we didn't do enough?
For that, so.
Is that we didn't do enough Arsenal content last season? So he's just fine, I'll do it myself.
I mean, he did say,
Sorry,
give us. What was it he said? Give Arsenal their dues, or what was it?
Give them respect or
respect
credit or something like that.
And we never
wait till you get to our
Arsenal could do.
Wait until you get to our predictions episode, Rich, is all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, and we are doing things a little bit differently this time because we do have two shows, and we're just focusing just now on, as you can see by the banner, etc. A little bit of a review from a young lad, a young football fan, and then we're going to be looking at the kind of transfer season and what's happened so far. And then in a separate episode, we'll be covering all our predictions for the season ahead. So I guess without further ado, Ryan, is to pass over to you and your what's the word I'm looking for? Progeny.
Child.
Improvement.
I was trying to look for something slightly better to say than just child, offspring.
So, basically, I took my eldest, Nathan, to Old Trafford to watch a game for the first time, and he would like to share a few words about what he thought about it all.
Oh, he's just appeared! Oh my god!
I can see it.
Hello.
Years in the rear.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How's everyone else doing?
Yeah, we're doing fine. We're doing fine. So tell us about Old Trafford. What was it like? That was your first time?
I need him to get a little bit louder there, Ryan. So either a little closer or speak up just a little bit.
Can you not understand Scottish?
Can everyone? I just completely forgot what you would have said real quick.
No, I think did we hear them okay now, Kel? Yeah. So what was your favourite part? Yeah.
My favourite part was probably how the players played and all the newly introduced players eased into the match very quickly.
Okay.
And let me ask you, was it raining when you were at Old Trafford or was it dry?
It was fairly dry and heated.
That's good. So you never had a waterfall falling in your head then?
You didn't have a full Old Trafford experience then?
Yeah. So just making sure you were maybe not getting the full effect. So who was your most who was the player that you most kind of were excited to see playing in the match?
Probably Fernandez or Maguire, because I've never really seen him do anything up close, like in the flesh.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a whole different perspective, don't you, when you see the match as a whole and not on a TV screen, so you can see your favourite players all the time.
Yeah.
And so who is your, out of the new signings this season that you've made, Manchester United have made, who are you most excited to see playing out of the new people?
I excited to see if Sesko can live up to the hype that he's been getting, because we are trading out Højlund for it. Højlund's one of my favourite players, so if he doesn't play as well as Højlund in the first couple matches, then I want Højlund back.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can understand that. It's a sore point for me, Sesko, because but we'll get to that later. We won't burden you with such pains anyway. Is there anything else you want to tell us about your experience, Nathan?
It was a good match. I feel like the scoreline could have been a bit better, but I'll take a 1-0 win.
It wasn't a 1-0 win.
Or was it?
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was 1-1, didn't it?
That's a win for Man United nowadays. I understand, don't worry.
Sorry,
So
my memory only stretches to 1-0, and that's it.
Yeah, cut out the bad part. Yeah, I completely agree.
Good headcanon right there.
All right, well, thanks very much for sharing your experience, Nathan. And I'm sure you'll be back at Old Trafford many more times in the future. And now your dad's unfortunately created another one of you Man United fans. But I'm only joking.
Oh, he created it years and years ago, don't worry.
So, all right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You can put those back now.
Well done.
Bye.
All right, so
I didn't hear a word of that at your end, by the way, so God knows what you would.
So, pre-season transfers. Now, why don't we just start with you guys over at Man United?
Yeah.
Obviously, I know about signings and everything like that. So, who have you signed? Who you might be getting in, and how do you feel the window's going?
Yeah, okay, so as Nathan said before the game on Saturday against Fiorentina, they brought out the signings of Matheus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Diego Leon, and newly announced that day Benjamin Sesko out onto the pitch. And if you go back to how I felt after the Europa League final, it's a much better window so far than I was expecting. I was expecting us to really sort of tighten the belt and really sort of try and cut the squad down and build from the ground up. But what I think has happened is they got Cunha through the door quite early because of his release clause, and then just something sort of shifted towards sort of mid-July time. I think Jim Ratcliffe, Jason Wilcox, and Omar Barada went on some retreat in Iceland or something, and I think what was discussed there, the vibe I'm getting, and that's been sort of mentioned by a couple of reporters as well, is that they've just said, look, Liverpool are looking like they're going to spend £300 million. Chelsea have just won the Club World Cup sort of unexpectedly and made a shitload of money from it. City have started rejuvenating their squad. Arsenal have got the sort of missing pieces in. We could be sensible, but we run the risk of falling further behind and letting those four sort of consolidate a bit more. So I think what's happened is they've really sort of front loaded a lot of spending that they maybe wanted to avoid. There's rumours that they've sort of extended the credit facility, so they're basically putting it all on the company credit card and Klarna to be able to afford it, to make sure that we get straight back into the mix as soon as possible.
Do you not think it's not about Liverpool, Chelsea, or City? Do you not think it's more about Villa and Tottenham?
I think part of it is
further down and not progressing, so it gives you an opportunity to get back into that top five.
Absolutely. I mean, the goal for this season should be to be sort of at the top of that second pack of Villa, Spurs, Newcastle, and hopefully us. Obviously, we were nowhere near it last season. But I think there's an opportunity there because of how aggressive we've been in the transfer market. I think Spurs are starting to do some stuff, but Villa and Newcastle just haven't. And obviously they've got a European campaign to contend with, which we don't. So I think they've seen the opportunity there.
Spurs haven't really done anything anyway. You see they're kind of starting to do something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. And they've lost more players through injuries and stuff that as well. So
yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to finish 17th like they did last season, but I don't expect them to have a brilliant season this season. Much as I rate Thomas Frank, I just think there's too many imbalances in that squad.
A little bit as well.
So yeah, I think they're trying to play catch up. So I mean, we've got a new front three, which is massive because we only scored 44 goals in the league last season. So if we get 15 goals each out of those, that's already an improvement. Never mind what Bruno makes, what Ahmad makes, that sort of thing. What's really impressed me over the summer is Patrick Dorgu on the left has really sort of bulked up, and he looked really dangerous in pre-season. He just needs a couple of cutbacks to find somebody. He just needs the odd shot to go in, and then I think he'll start being really productive. And then in terms of what we're going to do in the future, there's a lot of noise that we're looking at the transfer for Carlos Baleba, which again, a week ago, I'd have thought, no chance we're going to do that in Sesko. I was actually saying we don't need to spend 80 million on Sesko.
You didn't think it was going to happen, but now you're a believer.
I absolutely am a believer. But yeah, I mean, I was saying a week ago, ditch the £80 million for Sesko. We can make do with Højlund for a year. Put all that on Belieber. But I think they're gonna really sort of do everything they can to bring him in, especially because it doesn't seem like Manuel Ugarte had a really good pre-season up until the friendly with Everton in our last game in America. He had an absolute shocker there, and then from then he's just seems to have dropped down the pecking order quite a bit. So I think that's Amrin saying, no, I want a new midfielder. Same way, as soon as it looked like we were getting Sesko, Højlund's been completely out of the picture. He didn't get on the pitch at all on Saturday, and then Amrin came out afterwards saying we really missed having a striker up front, which is about as clear cut as I don't rate this guy as you're going to get. So I would love it if we managed to get Belieber. I'm still slightly skeptical, but then after the way the rest of the window's gone, there's every chance that it could happen. And then the only other thing would be to sort the keepers out, but we need to get rid of one before we can bring another in, and that doesn't look likely at this point.
No, I mean, you weren't linked with Donnarumma, but it now seems like City are favourites.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think we've spoken about him.
Fit, actually.
Yeah, I think we've spoken about him, but I just think he would be after far too much in wages, and if we're not shifting Onana before then, we can't really commit to it. So I'm not too gutted about us not getting him if that's what happens.
Final question for you then. Obviously, transfer season so far hasn't went the way you expected it to, but do you think with that then is now... You talked last year, sorry, I'll kind of rephrase my question a little bit. You talked last year about how fans, the club need to accept building slowly from here and taking sort of baby steps, not desperate to, we must be challenging for the title again. And I'm not saying expectations are that high, but I think Rio Ferdinand said, I think they'll get top 8. That might have been before Sesko come in, though, to be fair. I can't remember exactly, but he thinks top 8 for Man United. But I don't think with the money that you've spent, I think expectations are now bigger than that. I think you're looking for
I
minimum Europa League minimum.
I think what the club are aiming for and what I would be happy with at the end of the season are slightly different. So I think realistically, with how aggressive we've been in the market and how the plan has sort of changed over the summer, I would be surprised if they weren't trying to target top 5 minimum and hoping that 5th is going to get them a Champions League place. Just because it's very much we need to do this now. We need to not be left behind. So, a steady mid-table finish is not going to marry up to that. But you have to also marry that up with, if that's not looking possible, in December time, don't panic, keep hammering him as long as his system is starting to take shape and it looks like we're doing what we want to do in a game more often than not. Because my issue last season was that we were letting the other team dictate the game to us far too often. In terms of any team we played looked like they had a plan and they were executing it, and we just looked like we were reacting to whatever was going on. That needs to change. That needs to shift. I'd be happy with 8th, and that's starting to take shape, and then a good run in the cup. So I think that's progress. I don't know that would be the same for Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, given what they've done this summer.
Dave, what about your Chelsea? Normally the busiest in any transfer window, but actually,
Liverpool are outdoing us. Yeah, I mean, nearly half of our players that have come in we actually bought previously, like Paez, Asugo, Sa, Estevao. All these players we bought either earlier in the year or a year or two ago. So it's a bit odd for them all to arrive at the same time, but it's all very exciting as well. But yeah, I mean, how many players have we bought? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Always
about 8 players. Yeah, 8 players. So. Yeah, but obviously the ones that stick out for this window are Gittins, Delap, and João Pedro, who you would have seen the Delap and Pedro in the Club World Cup. So obviously, because we've had a preview of them already, got to be happy with how they've performed so far.
Yeah, for sure. Have you seen any of the Gittins since he came in? Yeah, I've never seen
this game. Play, First game he looked incredible. He's great running at players, but the second game you can kind of see why the negatives that he's got, which is it feels like another Madueke. Not that his finishing is a problem. So he's not great at shooting, and you could see that in the last game we played against Milan. But he's great at running, and he can pass the ball as well, which Madueke didn't do. But we'll see who's going to be better at the end of it. But so far, very happy with how he looks.
And given like where you were last season, they buying these two new strikers in, do you think that kind of fixes one of the issues that you had, was which you really only had Jackson, you had just him. Now you've got 3. I'm saying you've only got 2 because we think Jackson will go, but you've got 3 currently, whereas you only had 1 last season. So
yeah, I mean Jackson's incredible and all, but yeah, you're right, his finishing was a problem, and so far we've seen João Pedro finishing. He's got 5 goals already. I know some of them are pre-season, and Delap's got a few as well. And you can see with both of them, they're really good at finishing. They can strike a ball. But I know a lot of Brighton fans said João Pedro's not a finisher because what did he get? 5 goals last year, no penalties or something like that.
Non-penalty goals.
Yeah. So, and he's already got that many goals in pre-season in Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Listen, see if you can finish penalties. You're a good finisher. You know what I mean? Well,
I mean, he's always
that. Like they don't give the worst finisher the penalties to take, do they?
He's always had really good technical ability. I think part of it last season with Brighton is I don't think they were as good last season as in previous seasons. No. But also I don't think Pedro was really playing as the central striker that often. Danny Welbeck was there a lot of the time, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So I think he was sort of playing as a 10 off the wing a lot of the time, which is going to limit your opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great thing about João Pedro as well. He's very dynamic. He can play in many different ways, and we saw it the other day. He can play further back like a false 9, like he scored his goal being outside the box originally, whilst there's a few players in the box where you would normally expect a striker to be. So it's probably harder for players to track him. And when you've got people like Estevao and Palmer hanging around, I think this is where the system is going to start to work, is because it's very hard to, for us with the low blocks, that was a problem because we couldn't really break teams down. And I think with somebody like Pedro, it's going to be a lot easier. I'm hoping so anyway. I say this quite often, never happens, but all teams struggle with low blocks. We'll see. But I'm happy with him so far.
And what about the kind of players you're rumoured for in that? Which ones do you think you'll bring in before the end of the window?
I think we're rumoured for 2 players, aren't we? Garnacho and Xavi Simons. I think we'll probably get them both, but it really depends on if we can get rid of some of the players that we've got at the moment, like Nkunku. I think we've still got
Unique's interested in him, aren't they? We heard today, so maybe
so I think
good.
Because we've been rumoured of these players for a few weeks now, and earlier in the window, Chelsea were just like rumoured for a player, we're in the next day. And as it happened with Garnacho and Simmons, I thought we'd have Simmons a couple of weeks ago, but it just hasn't happened. So I assume it's because the club are waiting to sell some of the players we've got. And of course, we've got this UEFA punishment potentially happening, so we've got to be really careful with our finances from now on, because we might not be able to register new signings coming in.
But you have sold quite a few. I mean, you made a decent amount off.
There was one
Madueke.
sale alone. Yeah,
I think we've nearly made 200 million, haven't we?
Yeah. So Madueke,
you'll probably be okay with that now, to be honest.
You'd think so.
You'll get a sell on for Mark Gay bet as well, won't you? So,
not much if he's only going to go for 30 million now. But we sold very well this window. But I'm not keeping count, so I don't know how close we are to actually being punished in that.
It would be. It's probably difficult even for the accountants to keep count of all this and make it work. But they managed to do it. So, anything else you want to say, Dave, before we go on to mine? I'll be fair.
No, I'm happy, to be honest. I think this is one of the best windows for a while. But that's probably just kind of how Chelsea has shaped my mind nowadays. I think it's.
But is that as well that the Chelsea strategy that we were all slagging off and making fun of 18 months ago is actually starting to look like it makes a bit of sense, especially because they've ended up in the Club World Cup, which obviously was not Bowley's doing, but they've ended up winning it. I think that sort of vindicates it a bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I'm not sure that's just leading you under false pretenses or not. Like, is that just... Did that just happen by mistake? You know, is what they're doing the right way, or was it just a fluke? I'm liking how we're playing, and I know we've only had 2 preseason, and you can't look too much in preseason games, but we looked really good in those, which I don't often say, but it actually looks like we've got some shape to us and discipline. We're working as a team, so I think Maresca is probably getting his way nowadays. So yeah, it is very exciting. Very exciting to be a Chelsea fan at the moment.
Cool.
I guess it's for a Newcastle fan, everybody would say, "Oh, it's been an absolutely shocking transfer season. It's the worst transfer window that anybody's had on record. Newcastle are absolutely blowing it. Blah blah blah." I've seen people predict Newcastle won't even get 10th next year. Their transfer window has been so bad. So actually, I'm not going to go into the whole, because we're involved in so many sagas, or have been involved in so many sagas. Isak, the rat, wants it to Liverpool and is refusing to play for us again, and all that sort of stuff. We talked about that previously as well, and it's in every football press you can find anywhere. So there's nothing I could add to that isn't already known about that situation. But I think that alone is what's driven the narrative about our season. And actually, if you to take that away and say, let's say Isak has not thrown his toys at the pram and seems quite happy to start this summer, and you look at our transfer window in that kind of sense, we've upgraded our main position, which we only had one person for, which was Jacob Murphy, and we've bought somebody who's arguably going to take that place off them and put Jacob Murphy as the backup. So that's good business. We've added a young right-footed centre-back, which we've got a couple of older centre-backs, which will probably still be the same combo next year, but we do have now Botman, hopefully, who his injuries problems will be over him, fingers crossed. Now we've got Shaw that can come in as well that we've bought. We've got Ramsdale, so we've got a lot better goalkeeper cover than we probably had last year. Is he an immediate upgrade in Pope? Arguably not, but he's a decent keeper, and it gives us a bit of cover for a year. The problem, obviously, for us is the striker situation, because we can't pretend that Isak hasn't done the things that he's done. And at the moment, we don't have a striker going into our first game really against Aston Villa. So it's quite likely that Anthony Gordon will play up front. He can do it, but he's not a centre forward. And I think if we were keeping Wissa, if we were keeping Isak, and we went and got Wissa, for example, which might seem likely, but we're waiting on like the dominoes falling. There's all these dominoes need to fall. So Brentford are trying to buy someone from, is it Bournemouth?
Dango Ouattara they're trying to get.
And Bournemouth are trying to buy someone from somebody else. So they're waiting on that whole domino effect to possibly get Wissa. And I think Wissa as a replacement for Wilson is an actual upgrade. So theoretically, if we were keeping Isak, I would have said we've improved our squad in quite a few key areas, and there might be a midfielder coming in, and we're linked with Jacob Ramsey as well. The problem, of course, is the Isak situation, and losing a player, whether he stays or goes. I think it's likely that he goes, but late on in the window. And either way, he's not going to be there for the first couple of weeks anyway. Even if he does stay, he probably won't play for Liverpool right away if he goes there either. I'd rather he just went at this point, because I don't like the way he's kind of behaved. I think it's probably his agent pushing all this, but his agent's on it, pushing all the media every day, saying this, say that, trying to push this move, making up a lot of stories as well, which I think I posted today, just don't make sense. Like some of the stories we're starting to hear now just don't make sense whatsoever. If we could have got a really good replacement, and I would have just said, well, we get the money, it pays for a couple of other positions, and then we move on. It wouldn't be that bad. But we have been unable to get a replacement in, because the players that we've went for, unfortunately, we've been fighting against bigger clubs. It's just as simple as that. Pedro had a choice between us and Chelsea. He chose Chelsea, because Chelsea, then went on to win the Club World Cup. So, choice validated immediately for Pedro. He basically paid off his own fee. Ekitike chose to join the current Premier League champions, who have spent all this, just spent £100 million in a midfielder to provide goals for him and stuff like that. You can totally understand that as well. And Man United, despite finishing 15th, are still a massive club, and it takes longer than that out the limelight for players to start going, I'm not going there, because everybody's got the dream still, that they'll go there, and that this will be the manager that resolves it. Now it will get better, and then we're going to be back in the Champions League every year. We're going to be challenging for titles, and they're sold that for the history of it. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be the case, but you can absolutely appreciate why players would choose those three clubs over Newcastle United right now. I don't think it's anything to be upset about or anything like that. It's just reality. It's the reality that we live in. So whether we can get a replacement in now for Isak remains to be seen. But that's what's, I think, is going to determine our window, the quality of the person we bring in to replace Isak, or whether we keep him and he actually plays well for a season. That'll determine our season. I think the other business we've done round about so far has actually been okay. And if we do sell Isak, we'll probably be okay PSR wise to spend again in future windows as well.
Mm.
And you guys want to add into that or disagree with me on?
Who would you want to bring in to replace? The thing is with Isak, he's irreplaceable, so it's very hard to choose his replacement. But is there anybody you'd want at the moment?
Well, it has to be someone who isn't just a complete prospect, someone who can play, and be expected to score a few goals, but isn't at their ceiling yet, and you think's got a high ceiling. And that's why I like the Samu links that we had. But it was one of those ones, and we've talked about this, how David Ornstein this season seems to be becoming more like Fab and less like old David Ornstein in some ways. And I think a lot of people have been talking about that online, like whether they're pushing him to be more. So it was him that linked us with Samu, and everybody else just said it was a non-starter kind of thing, and it seems to have died a death. So it's a bit of a strange one that there were reports that Porto were like, nah, we want £80 million for him. So I don't know. It's a bit of a mad one. So I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, who would be? I know like Jackson for you guys has been reported, and I like Jackson. I think Jackson's a good player, and I think he can be better than what he is. But I don't think he has an Isak level ceiling though.
No, but not many people do. Thing. The thing about Jackson last season, he was great up until Christmas, and then he got injured, and then when he came back, he just couldn't get it back again. So if you can get with Jackson,
you've got the issue with Jackson. That would be great. You've got the issue with Jackson as well, as that if you sign Jackson and you sign Visser, they're both missing in January for AFCON. And obviously, you sign players for longer than a season, but it's not great for this season, is it?
It's not. It would be a big, and I don't know how long AFCON's on for, but that would be quite a few games where we would be left with Gordon up front or just Willis Sula. So it doesn't feel to me like we can do both of them. I agree with you, Ryan, that doesn't make sense to me. So I think Wiss is the right choice for somebody that can come in, start within 2 weeks and get his goals right now. But I don't know who the long-term Isak replacement is, the prospect. And I don't want it to be, and I don't mean any offence to your lad, because since it was his favourite player, Højlund, there was some reports to us kind of going in for him. I just feel somebody with that low confidence in his game at the moment, it's not the right time. He needs to go somewhere lower down and
who better to restore confidence in a player than Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall? He'll be Thing is, he's not confident on the pitch. He is very confident off it. He was speaking quite bullishly a couple of weeks ago on the tour. He believes in himself. He's just not got the conviction in his game at the minute. But I think if anyone can give him that conviction, it'd be Eddie Howe. I think he could do quite good things for him.
Yeah, but I think there's also the
and that's not just because I want to sell him so we can get Belieber.
And I think Newcastle are smart enough to read the optics, and that a lot of Newcastle fans, if we lose Isak, they don't what they deem as by Chelsea rejecting Jackson or a Man United reject and Højlund, we go, the people that we were after, you go and get. So there's a lot of animosity towards those two players, and it's not really based on pure like football fact. It's based on emotion and feeling bad about maybe situations that's happened, and nobody likes to see their club made fun of, and Newcastle have been made fun of online. Like there's literally people saying Guehi was another one rejected by Newcastle this year. So what was the one I posted the other day there of somebody, Grealish, another one that rejected Newcastle apparently and went to Everton. It's just not true. So no, we have been made fun of quite a bit, but I can take it. We'll see how the season goes. Is that us then for our discussion on the transfer window? I would just like to see. I think Arsenal have done good business.
Yes, they've done extremely good business.
I think they'll be.
Yeah, they've plugged the holes that need plugging. I think.
Zubimendi looks.
Very good. Perfect. And still to be tested in the Premier League, but Gyökeres looks like a player. So okay. Well, thanks for watching as always. Remember, you check out our other Genreverse YouTube channels if you can, and check out lrmonline.com. We'll be back with some more chat next week, which will be more focused on the actual game and probably a little bit less on transfers, because we'll actually have some to watch. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next week. Bye bye.
Yeah.